Hey everybody, welcome back to Dude Ranch DIY. My name is Jake. We are down here in the basement or man cave. Still haven't posted that video where I asked for input, so don't know what to call it yet. But today we are going to sharpen up the 500i quick, then hopefully head down to the wood yard with the tractor and the grapple and start cutting up some more rounds. I got some beech, I have some maple, I have some hickory, and plenty of ash all to cut up, but I'd like to get that beech, maple, and hickory cut up, split, stacked, and that way it's drying for next year. That ash is always pretty good. I wanted to show you how I've been sharpening the saws. I've actually been using a Dremel instead of doing it by hand, and I actually kind of like it. I've had pretty good results with it so far. Another thing, let me show you here. I got a ton of feedback on that video where I was welding that plate back on the RuggedMade log splitter, and a ton of people were telling me that my ground was bad. I obviously never noticed that because I was wearing my welding hood, so couldn't really see that, but upon further review and watching the video back, I quickly noticed that. So I started taking apart the ground to try and clean it and everything, and this thing is pretty beat up. It's bent, and you can see here this like copper, I don't know, like webbing. It's pretty dirty and it's ripped and stuff. So I just went ahead and ordered a whole new ground, and I'm gonna redo this connection that's right here. I got a bunch of new tips in the mail, and these all seem to work pretty well. This is the old plastic screw-on shield that was on there. I went ahead and got a new one of those. It really doesn't go much farther down. I also ordered one of the MIG nozzles, like the gas shield copper nozzle. So we'll see if that helps. But I think with a new ground clamp, that'll be a big help. And you know, just cleaning up this connection in general, and then these new tips might help as well. So out here, I got the 500i, and I got the Dremel with the appropriate size Oregon, like grinding wheel, stone, whatever you want to call it. So we're going to sharpen this puppy up quick. Alright guys, got it all sharpened. I like the Dremel, and I'm still kind of learning how to do it. This is only like the fourth saw, I guess, I've sharpened, or chain I've sharpened with the Dremel. But I do like it, and it does seem to get the gullet, like all the way down there in the, curvature of the tooth. And, so far, all the saws have cut pretty well. I just wanted to stop here and say the thing that I like most about the Dremel is that compared to a regular benchtop grinder to, sharpen a chain, the Dremel doesn't seem to harden the teeth, making it impossible or very hard to sharpen, again, by hand out in the field with a file. I do like to kind of run the Dremel back and forth to evenly wear on the the tip here. That way one side doesn't wear prematurely than the other. But it works pretty good. I've always hand filed, but this is certainly a lot faster. I think that took me about 3 minutes to sharpen this up, and that's a 25-inch bar. So that's pretty good. Just got down here on the tractor. I forgot I still had a bunch of maple in the trailer from the last time that we were splitting. I did all this on my own. So let's get this stacked up quick in these one or, two totes, however much it takes. Probably a little bit more than a tote. Yeah, I also forgot it rained. I guess the trailer wasn't tilted adequately or pitched backwards because this is a lot of water. All right, guys, we got just shy of half a tote of bundle grade maple, a partial small tote of bulk maple, and a full large tote of bulk maple right over there out of that dump trailer. So that was a little bit more wood than I was anticipating, probably just shy of like 2 full totes. So that was that. I don't know if you could see there on the time lapse, but I was having a little bit of trouble with the trailer. All the wood came careening back, and the front of the trailer actually picked up and rolled back a little bit. So I had to deal with that. But yeah, we're gonna just basically leave these totes here because I have a bunch of maple over up there, which I'll cut up first. That way we can finish off the maple and just keep stacking into these maple totes, and that way nothing has to move. So going to take off the pallet forks, throw on the wicked grapple, and while it's still light out, it's getting dark, fire up the 500i and cut up a couple logs.
absolutely tore through this sugar maple. It's the 500i. So clearly that Dremel does a pretty good job, because there isn't much operator error with that thing unless you go totally off on your angle. But this thing is throwing some real nice chips. I don't know if you can see that, but there are some long chips in there. So I'm gonna keep going here. Okay guys, I think this is the last maple log. There might be one more behind the pile of beech, but I can't reach it right now with the tractor. So we got another beech log in the grapple. We're gonna mark this one up. It's already like split kind of halfway through the log. This stuff is pretty nasty. It's all sugar maple, pretty crotchy stuff. Pretty atypical for what we have here in the Dude Ranch wood yard usually, but that's all right. It all burns, so that just means more wood for me to burn in the wood stove chunk. So we'll cut this one up and just keep on trucking. We got the Hyperlight, the solar powered light. I haven't gotten a chance to test it out yet in like the dark and working conditions, so I'm gonna try and let it get dark and then turn that thing on and see how it does. Now you notice I usually mark my logs starting at this left side or my left, and then finish it on that side. That way all my offcuts end up on one side and they're all kind of off in a pile out of the way, and when it comes time I have enough room to push them in right up to the splitter. So just a little trick, if you use a Mingo marker and you kind of have everything stationary, try and make all your offcuts in one spot. That way, you know, you don't have to move them. All right, guys, you may not look it on camera, but it's starting to get dark. Dark enough where I feel it's appropriate to put on some light, and because it's only gonna get darker. So I'm gonna grab the remote control I have for the light, which is in the toolbox over here. And let's turn this thing on. It hasn't been on in a couple days. There we go. It's much brighter. Off, on. And yeah, that's as bright as it goes. And that's as dim as it goes, but we'll leave it on bright. I mean, that's great. Some people were saying, oh, it doesn't shine back on the machine. I know. This light I wanted specifically to cast out, which is why when I was commenting on the fact that it's up on an angle, I think that's because some people said it's a street light. It's designed to cast out. So I wanted this one for like working out here and like entertaining purposes, and then I'm gonna get other lights for underneath the splitter structure itself. But I mean, that's great. Just really brighten things up. Okay, so wanted to try this LogOx thing, but oh, I guess it kind of grabs onto the bigger rims. Not really. Thought maybe it would work for the, no. I mean, you can try the Hookaroon. See what this thing does. There we go. Okay guys, I just wanted to talk quick. I just tried out the LogOx hookaroon thing for the first time, and I just want to compare it to like a standard purpose-built pickaroon, because there's a couple differences that I'm noticing in using it, and I don't think it's the fault of this. I think it's because it is you know, a multi-use tool. It's a pickaroon, it's a timberjack, it's a PV, it's a log grabber thing all in one, whereas this is a purpose-built pickaroon. The first thing, this is a round handle. So you can grab it any which way and it feels the same in your hand, whereas an axe or something, you know, has a taper. There's a skinny edge and then there's a wide edge. So as soon as you pick it up in your hand, you know which way to hold it, or at least you have a 50-50 shot. But usually you'll even know because there's a taper down at the bottom where you grab it. This, when I pick it up, I don't know where that tip is without physically looking at it. So that's one thing that I don't necessarily like, although I understand why it's like that, because you're also using it like as a PV. You know, this is a handle for the PV attachment. You'd take this thing out, boom, and then stick that in. So I understand why it's round. I just can't say I really like it for use as a pickaroon. The other thing is this is a great tip. It's not even like all that sharp, but there's just like a little square chisel edge on it. And it really digs into the wood, but you can see how much shorter it is compared to this one. And I almost feel like because this is so straight, it's like a 90 degree, whereas this sticks out a lot farther. Sometimes you end up, if you don't hit it on the edge of the log, you end up at an angle, you end up hitting the handle before you actually get the point in. When you get that point in, it's in there. See, like it, I'm not even playing. It really goes in. Whereas with this, you know, it goes in, but it comes out pretty easily. But you can hit it smack dab in the middle of the log and you'll get a bite. This you have to hit like, I don't know, those outer like 2 or 3 inches, unless you're straight up next to it, you know, like this, and then you can get it in the center. But the amount of times that you're, you know, focusing, at least me with a pickaroon, I'm just kind of swinging and using it like as an extension of my arm. Third thing that you notice, this is pretty heavy. It really is. I mean, this is heavy duty steel, but compared to this, I mean, I know this is a small one, but wooden handle versus steel handle, this thing's a lot heavier. So I'm gonna keep playing with this and using it. I do really like that tip. I just wish it was a little bit longer. So we're gonna cut up this big beech log. This light is really helping and it seems to be staying on now. So that's a good thing. All right, guys, that's gonna wrap this one up. It's pretty dark out, and although I have this solar street light, which makes things pretty bright out here, this 500i with the Egan straight shot is really, really loud. So I don't want to be too much of a nuisance to my neighbors. So we're gonna call it quits. We got a lot of the beech bucked up. There's some bigger stuff. The rest of the pile is a little bit smaller, so it actually might be better suited for that LogOx log grabber kind of thing, not the pickaroon, but the other thing. I want to give that some more trying out.
But yeah, we got all the maple bucked up. Now we got some more rounds in front of the splitter, which is a good thing. So that's gonna wrap it up. Dremel on the chainsaw chain for sharpening. I think it does pretty good. And I mean, I sharpen chainsaws by hand at work with a file all the time. That's how I've always done it. But the Dremel is definitely fast and it gives a pretty clean edge. So if you haven't tried that out, consider giving it a shot. I was a little skeptical, but I think it holds its own. So yeah, I don't know when this video is gonna come out, but Chris and I are going to be at Brad's Firewood at the Furnace in Maryland this upcoming Friday. I believe it's January 27th. We're gonna be there along with a bunch of other people I've heard through talking with Brad. So if you're in the East Coast area, consider heading down there. I think it's gonna be a good time, a little trial run for a East Coast firewood frenzy. So if you liked the video, give it a big thumbs up. If you're new to the channel, thanks for stopping by. Please consider hitting that subscribe button down below. We've been getting a ton of new subscribers lately, so welcome if this is the first video you're watching. Questions, comments, or feedback on anything I did here in the video, or just in general, throw it down in that comment section. But for now, I'm Jake. This is Dude Ranch DIY. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you here next time.